Hey guys, welcome to day 14. This is the end of the second week of One Zentangle A day. It is wonderful to see all of your smiling faces today. Today we've got 3 different patterns to talk about, and we're also going to talk about shading in a way that is decorative. We have talked about a lot of different ways to shade for three-dimensionality, for overlapping, making things look higher or lower, but decorative shading is all about just shading just to have some shading. It's really about just making things not look bland. So let's talk about some examples of that. In this first pattern, Dyon, we start with like a plus sign and an X through it. So it's like a line and a line and a line and a line. And then we're basically making a spider webby thing going around it, right? Where we're just making a bump and 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 a bump. So at this point, I could just leave this pattern as it is. But right now there are no values, no tonal values, no lights or darks that really stand out from the rest to make this more interesting. So some ideas would be to use some pencil shading, or maybe make one of these layers thicker than the rest. I think I might do both. So here I've switched to a thicker pen, so that should make one layer here thicker, darker, blacker than the rest. That'll make that one stand out a little. You can already tell that's standing out. And then some shading would just make some things stand out a little. Do I have to shade everything a specific way, thinking about three-dimensionality or anything? I mean, I could use all the different shading tools I'm familiar with, or I could just shade some stuff, right? So here I am using some of that three-dimensional thought about, making highlights in the center of these and darker as it rounds off to the edges. But that's not the only way to do it, right? That does make it more decorative, but even if I don't know how to do that, I could make it more decorative by just picking an area to shade completely. And so the idea with decorative value is to just experiment with different ways to use light and dark to make things more interesting. It doesn't always have to follow some specific thought or some specific, pattern of why we're doing it. Just do it. Just have some fun with it. Experiment. See what works and what doesn't. For this second pattern called Chainging, I like the spelling there on changing. That's interesting. We're basically making little ribbony shapes that overlap each other in a woven pattern. So we start with one little curved ribbony thing. Then we make our next little curved ribbony thing, overlap it. And then we make our next one, overlap that one. And then the next one, overlap that one. See how they just change back and forth different directions? Then we can make an aura around it. We can darken in the gaps between. These are all things that just enhance the Zentangle, the pattern. So specifically thinking with decorative value in mind, if I leave it exactly as it is, and maybe just make a little loop around it, a little aura around it. Well, right there, I made the aura around it with a thicker, darker pen, so it's going to stand out a little bit and make the changing pattern kind of sink in a little. But my thought here is, like, if I darken in the gaps between the changing pattern, right there, that's already starting to make a big impact in contrast and making things stand out, right? Decorative shading is all about making things more interesting, and that definitely makes that more interesting. If I wanted, I could even darken in this area between the aura and the pattern. And that helps it to feel like it's part of that background. Again, this is not something that's done here on this page of the book. It's just be free and fun and exciting and experiment with different ways of changing the tonal value. Remember, light and dark does not always have to be shading. Here I'm just using my pen to make a darker value. There's so many different ways to do it. You try them out, see what you can come up with. And that right there makes those little loopy bits really pop off. Kinda like the hollabaugh pattern. Now this next pattern, Keeko, is very similar to one we've done before called Nekton, except that it's with the Nekton pattern, we were just kind of random with where we put the different directions, and this one also has diagonals, whereas Keeko is very specific about vertical, horizontal in a woven pattern. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 vertical, 1, 2, 3 horizontal, 1, 2, 3 vertical, 3 horizontal. And you notice that each column or row is offset from the other, just like if it were a checkerboard pattern. Now in this case, the shading is all done to make the over-under look like they're over-under. It's all done for overlapping. Well, wherever things go under, you darken the ones that are underneath. So these are underneath the verticals. Now the opposite is true here. We've got horizontals. These verticals go under that, right? And so if you just kind of, everywhere where something goes under, you shade the underneath side, it'll start to give that over-under raised woven effect. But that becomes very tedious, and you can start to lose track of where you have and haven't done this and what all's going on. So really, what can be even more fun is to add some decorative value, like maybe thinking of these verticals right here. It's 1, 2, 3 vertical lines, but think of it as 2 ribbons instead of 3 lines. It's 2 ribbons, right? And so maybe I'll darken in the ribbon on the right the whole way down. Now I don't necessarily have to do this everywhere, but if I just do it in that one spot, it emphasizes that, oh, this is overlapping underneath and then over and then under and then over and then under. And maybe if I do one more in the opposite direction, one more in the horizontal, then it re-emphasizes that over-underness, and it also puts a focal point where those two cross. So this can really help direct the eyes around your Zentangle, and you don't have to do it everywhere. You can just do it in certain small areas, and it really has a huge impact. So again, the idea there is not to copy what's in the book. The idea here with all of these is use value, not just shading. I shouldn't just say shading, but value in interesting ways. Now, value is just light and dark. It's not necessarily what you do with your pencil. It's also what you do with your pens. So as I move on and make a tile out of this thought using these ideas, then I want to just experiment with this tile and maybe go back into other old patterns that we've done before and try to approach them with a sort of new thought in terms of how shading and value are going to play a role. One thing I really like to do with a pattern like this changing thing is follow along a string with it. So here I'm gonna So there you have it. That is day 14 done. That is a lot of stuff going on. I've got the amaze pattern with one sort of tendrily area made with a thicker pen for a darker line, so that one stands out there because of value. I've got this flux pattern with two of those leafy bits darkened in as black as possible. Some tipple here with some dark black circles in there too. Lots of different things going on here with value, whether it's pencil shading or just deep dark blackness from pen. There's a whole lot of value going on for decorative reasons. Well, that may or may not make sense for any other reason other than just decoration. Anyway, that's it for day 14. If you've enjoyed this series so far, hit the thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 15.